Nicholas.
Yes, I'm going to present this evening a summary of a survey we sent out to a combination of students, teachers, staff, and parents. We will be posting the entire set of surveys which were done by school on the website. What I'm presenting tonight is kind of some cornerstone questions and the results as a broad overview this evening. So if we, yeah, do good. Can everyone see it? My screen is off.
No.
Mr. President, board members, can you guys see on your screen the presentation?
No, just seeing everyone's faces so far.
Okay, it's coming here right in a second.
There it is.
There it is. Okay. So we reached out. We said that we were this summer we were going to do a check-in as the first quarter and trimester came towards an end. So we sent this survey out right before the quarter ended at the high school. Obviously, we have a little bit of more time in the trimester. So we started with the students. So this summary, again, it was done by school site. In some instances, we have a total. And in this case, what we asked is just to give you a sense of the number of participants. We have approximately 3,000 total participants of all of the four categories that were reached out to. And you can see there which group is represented from it. And I think it's interesting to note that at the high school, there was more students that participated, and at the K-8s, the parents participated at a greater level, which is understandable. Okay, so the students' questions first is, how well have you adapted to distance learning on the online pathway? And so what we were hoping to see in these surveys is that the okay, better than okay to very well was going to be a larger portion than the not well or a little bit better than not well. And what we see here is from the students that participated that a significant number were okay or better. The second question that we've put here is, I have access to the Chromebook, iPad, laptop, or desktop computer. And it's really nice to see that nearly all of the participants, we have a couple of schools, Altamont and the high school, have to check into that there's one student that we need to provide some technology to, but that says that our kids have the tools they need to work the program as presented right now. Student question number 3 is, are you able to get help with assignments during your teacher's office hours or by appointment? And again, we were hoping to see a very large number of yeses, which we have here. We do have to do some check-in, and we're going to be reviewing this survey with the site administrators, and they will be reaching out to find the folks who said no, that they weren't able to get help with assignments. We need to correct that as fast as possible. Student question 4 is, how much time do you spend completing asynchronous or independent assignments compared to the time your teacher says that it should take? And again, what we were looking for is that it takes the same amount of time as the teacher says, but as you can see, we kind of have a nice little balance there between more time and less time. I think this will be good information for the principals to discuss with their teachers. There's a group of kids that it's too easy for, and maybe a group of kids that need additional supports. Question number 5 for students, how would you describe the relationship connections you are making with your teachers during distance learning LVLA? And we were hoping to see a lot in the my teachers have been successful in building relationships, and my teachers are working to build positive relationships, the teal and the green. And we can see that that's a higher percentage. However, it also tells our student services director, counselors, and principals that there are some kids who are that there's not a connection happening right now, and something that we need to address over time. And finally, question number 6, how would you describe the rigor, academic challenge of the lessons that you have received through distance learning and LVLA? And again, we don't want to see too many answers in the too easy or too difficult, and we want to see a lot that are similar, and the teal color represents similar, so that's nice. But I also think this gives good data for the principals to talk with their teachers, with the curriculum department, assistant superintendent Sherburne, and the like, to make sure that what we're putting out there is doable, not too easy, I guess the porridge is just right, not too hot and not too cold. All right, parent question number 1. How well is your student or students adapted to distance learning, LVLA, and online pathway? And again, what you see is the answers across the spectrum at each school site from not well, okay, very well. But if you look to the right, what we wanted to see was more answers in the okay, better than okay, and very well category, which is a significantly higher population of survey participants than the not well or a little bit better than not well. So we still have some means of reaching out to families and find out what we can do to support the folks in the not well and better than not well category. Does your student, parent question 2, does your student have adult guidance support to complete distance learning online pathway daily? And we wanted to see a significant blue bar, and we did. We have a number of students, again, good information for principals and student services, that if there's an issue with parents being able to support their children at home, we can reach out to those families. Question 3, parent question, do you know where to obtain resources for distance learning LVLA? And again, we wanted to see a very large blue bar, which we do see. We still have some communication that we can do through our communication vehicles by site for the folks that say no, that we need to make sure that they're informed as the folks in the blue bar are. The 4th parent question, when public health department determines schools can reopen following state guidelines, are you and your students prepared to come back to school in a hybrid model? And what we were hoping to see is a significant blue bar and a small teal bar. The green bar represents individuals that are in the LVLA or online pathway program. And so if you look to the right, we have a very large, significant number in the blue bar, but approximately 250 participants still have concerns about the transition to the hybrid model. Associate Superintendent Harrison will speak to the hybrid models this evening later on in our meeting. Teacher question, how well have you adapted to distance learning LVLA? And again, the same kind of spectrum across each of the school sites. What we wanted to see is green, yellow, and red in a much larger portion. That's okay, better than okay, and very well. We see that here. There are, however, of the teachers that participated, and I believe it's about 60% plus of our teachers, about 16 folks we need to have school site principals reach out and provide support. Question number 2, do you know where to obtain instructional resources to support your instruction during distance learning online pathway? We wanted to see a significant blue bar, and we do. Again, there's a few folks that are asking for some help, and so by site we'll find out who they are and provide them the assistance that they need. Question 3, and this is really a fascinating question. There's a summation of all of these vibrant colors on the next slide, but there are multiple categories we ask about. What are the 5 items that you're spending most of your time on? Lesson plans, preparing materials, grades, engagement logs, which is a state mandate, live instruction, office hours, email correspondence, or something else. And so the total of that on the next slide says that lesson plans, live instruction, and email correspondence are the big 3. That's very exciting because that would be the areas we would want our teachers spending the most time. Grades has a kind of a unique characteristic there of itself. And then preparing materials, engagement logs, and office hours are taking up the rest of the time. So I think that's a good a piece of information that bureaucracy is not leading the way, and that instruction-related matters are leading the way. Question 4 from the teachers, where are you primarily working from? That was just an interesting question. Some home, some school, some combo. So you have a nice balance across the district. The high school has more folks working at home, but in general, it's a nice balance. How has the communication from your site administration been? We want to see a large red bar there, and we do. Somewhat clear is the second one, and unclear is in blue. So we have some work to do to find out the folks who are feeling they're not getting the information that they need, and if we need to improve our channels or the way we're communicating with our teachers. Teacher question 6, when public health department determines schools can reopen following state guidelines, how prepared are you to return for in-person hybrid instruction? The category choices they could have was unprepared, somewhat prepared, prepared, and in yellow, I teach in the LVLA online program. What we wanted to see was more teal and green than blue. So I think it shows a nice balance there. However, there are some folks who are still concerned with the COVID-related issues as San Joaquin County has moved from purple to red, and the numbers are seemingly to continue to go down, so maybe red to orange. So definitely good information for all the administration and staff to know. Are you a teacher? Question number 7. Are you collaborating with your peers? We wanted to see a very large blue bar and a very small teal, and that's what we received. Again, good data for principals to work with their staff on. Question 8. Compared to the regular school year, is your collaboration with peers more or less? We wanted to see the same or more, and that's really what we're seeing. Less is teal, so there's some folks out there that might be getting isolated, so we'll share this with the site administrators, do an outreach and make sure that if you're in the teal category, it's not because you're being left out, and we're going to try to pull them in and get them part of the overall work of folks working together as we work through distance learning. And then finally, our classified and unrepresented staff were also asked a series of questions. Question 1, how well have you adapted to distance learning LVLA? One of the things we added to this was it does not apply to my job. We have some folks who are working in the district office and other areas that may not be impacted by the instructional model. But we have some folks in the not so good category, but the rest are doing fine. You can see the summary there on the right. In terms of question 2, where are you primarily working from? And most of the respondents are working from school or from the office. And question 3 is, how has communication from your site administration been? We want to see a big red bar there. So by site, we can make sure that if folks are feeling like they're not getting good communication from their leader, we can work with them and make sure folks are getting the information that they need. And when the I think this is the final question, when the public health department determines schools can reopen following state guidelines, how prepared are you to return in person for hybrid instruction? One category does not apply to my job. However, we wanted to see somewhat prepared, and that's the teal and the green. So again, our staff is by answering this question, we know that we have some folks to work with. And we want to make sure that as we move towards bringing kids back onto campus and towards a hybrid model and hopefully a full-scale model, that everyone has the information that they need to be prepared. So that is a summary, again, of a much larger survey, but those were the highlight questions that we wanted to bring forward this evening. We will post this presentation after it is reviewed with site administrators, and then we will post all of the answers from all the respondents by school at the same time.